believe this, but Democrats were out in full force today criticizing the Iran war and President Trump's effort to keep the world safe. Yeah, it sounded like they have no problem with a nuclear Iran. Virginia Senator Mark Warner is even downplaying the threat from the Islamic Republic.
There was no imminent threat to America. Trump chose this war. I think all of our intelligence shows the current leadership now is even more radical than the previous leadership. Getting rid of these enriched uranium, these are canisters, 1,000 pounds, very volatile. It would not be some simple operation. The idea that we've gotten rid of all the ballistic missiles, absolutely not.
Yeah, while Ro Khanna and Tim Kaine are trying to convince the country that we were better off with the JCPOA, which is Obama's Iran nuclear deal.
I believe we were safer when we had tough negotiation under the JCPOA. We had 97% of the enriched uranium out. What we have done has not left America safer.
I think that decision by President Trump to tear up a diplomatic deal will go down in history as one of the worst decisions in the foreign policy space ever made by an American president.
Okay, Tommy, I know that you have studied the JCPOA at length. You know it in and out. But I want to point out some of the things that the criticisms of JCPOA, because I think that's important to not just say it was a disastrous deal or a bad deal, but why Republicans and conservatives and some independents thought it was bad. It was sunset clause. So come 2025, all these restrictions went away. And so during that time, all it did was allow them to focus their efforts on making an intercontinental ballistic missile, which we found out in the last month they might have gotten to. It limited the scope, which means that that we weren't able to prevent the proxy funding and all the other things. The inspections were considered weak. The financial windfall, they were allowed to recoup all this money, and all the sanctions went away. And then ultimately, they were still allowed to enrich in other ways. There were some things. They did give up some fissile material. They did like let them come in and inspect that some of these facilities were basically put out of commission forever. But, I mean, you know, we just bombed their 3 major facilities, and they're still saying, hey, they could rebuild pretty quickly. So it isn't like this deal put an end to it. It just kicked the can down the road.
Also gave them a little bit of cash to play with. And when I say play with, I mean fund terror proxies and terrorize us and our allies, right? So I love Democrats, though. They, with a straight face, they'll go on all of these Sunday shows, and they will, no matter what it is, they will just root for the opposite of whatever President Trump's doing. If President Trump is dropping bombs, they hate the bombs. If President Trump wants to have negotiations, then they hate the negotiations, and they're a failure. And they want him to talk, and then now I just saw Gavin Newsom tweeted out, oh, you know, J.D. Vance is a lightweight and all these things. It's like you keep saying, or at least last Sunday you were saying diplomacy, 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 ceasefire. They're never happy with anything, y'all. And I think, to me, because I'm someone who believes in this president, and I'm one of those people that was no endless wars, right? End endless wars. But when I heard President Trump with Maria Bartiromo say, listen, the economy, yes, it's not as good as we want it to be. Yes, we're going to take a hit, but would you prefer Iran to have a nuclear weapon? When President Trump says they were that close and I had to do something, I tend to believe him because I feel like I know where his heart and his mind is on an endless war. So he did what had to be done. He had the intestinal fortitude to do what others could not. And here we are, and we got to deal with it.
David, you and I were talking just before we came to this segment. One of the things that I think was it Warner, the Virginia senator, said was that President Trump promised regime change. And I went back and watched that video on February 28th.
8 minutes.
I outlined 6 things, and I won't go through all of them, that he said were the goals. He never once said the goal was regime change. He told the Iranian people, hey, this might be your opportunity, but he didn't say that's what we're trying to do.
Right. Look, it's a lie. Just call it what it is. I mean, it's an 8-minute video. Anyone can go get this, watch it. The White House has all the information up there. It's well-sourced. Caroline Leavitt repeated as much. There were, as you said, 6 points, but none of those points had the words regime change in it. And that was smart because you didn't want to go in and seem as the first thing you were doing was not what was always the real threat, the ballistic missiles, the Navy, the Iranian Navy, the nuclear program. And to go back for a moment to the JCPOA, President Trump was building, unfortunately, on the failure of parchment that wasn't worth the paper it was on. The JCPOA was never ratified. That whole joke around it was basically just something you could throw away because it was never even signed. This is the falsehood of the Obama and the Democrats' approach. To Tommy's points, if Trump does this, they hate it. If he does this that they ask for, they hate it. They just simply hate Trump and anything he does with this. What they don't care about, what's going on in Iran. What this is doing to the people. Look at the country for what it is and what it has been going through for 40 years. It has failed in modernization. It makes California rolling blackouts before the war look like a walk in the park. It has meager industries, if anything. It has high inflation. It has poverty rates. This is the result of an Islamic regime, not the result of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
One thing, Alicia, that maybe is worth at least bringing up is one thing the JCPOA focused on was nuclear enrichment, nuclear weapons specifically. But when you take that off the table, what it did was even where it was effective, it allowed Iran to focus their money, science, and efforts on intercontinental ballistic missiles and funding proxies, which may have led to what happened on October 7th, may have led to the ongoing fight that Lebanon, the huge problem the Houthis have been for the entire region. And so I guess when I look at it, I understand that President Trump takes to the pulpit and says this is about nuclear weapons. But as an American that has fought in the Middle East, I also think it's a pretty righteous cause to not want Iran to have the capability to fire upon any number of allies, to include us, because they do say death to America and that is their cause.
Right. And Senator Kaine serves on the Armed Services and Foreign Relations Committee, so he has this information available. And he uses the information to say, well, they weren't a direct threat to the homeland, maybe to Israel. Oh, really? One of our biggest allies in the world, and maybe they're a threat to them because they live in the neighborhood? That felt very disingenuous. In addition to all that, when we talk about all the millions of dollars that they received in this deal with under the Obama administration, they invested in the IRGC. And just recently, before these talks, the Iranians walked in and told Steve Witkoff, we have enough uranium to enrich up to the level of 11 nuclear bombs. That's not nothing, folks.
Yeah, I wish all political parties, when they take the executive, would quit with they're going to have it in a week, they're going to have it in a month, because those terms are easy for us to understand, but they mean something different from their perspective. You got to make the bomb, you got to transport the bomb, you got to put it on a vehicle to get it somewhere and test it. There's a lot that goes on there, but at the bottom line, you can't make any kind of nuclear bomb if you don't have the nuclear material to do it with. And I think that has become, I think that's what the Trump administration has realized, is we don't always know where their other capabilities are, but if they don't have the material to begin with, they can't do it. All right.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.